the Spider's Web, the first one of 2014. How the devil are you? Hope you all had a good new year. Didn't get too imbibed, shall we say. And what are we doing tonight? Well, I decided we're going to finish off our Gimme a Hug zombies. So we'll do those. I'm just waiting now for Windows 7 to install on my computer because I've been running XP for the last God knows how many years. Well, I think 5 years by now, and I think it's time for a change as Microsoft are doing away with all support for XP. So I thought that getting what you call it, Windows 7 might be an idea. Maybe a good idea, maybe a bad idea. Who knows as yet, but we'll soon find out. Okay, so what are we going to be doing? Well, obviously highlighting these two because we've already painted them. We've, as you remember from the last video, so many months ago. Even the one you need to do is just look at the previous video in the playlist. We painted them, we gave them a wash, and then we left them because I became rather unwell. So let's get cracking, shall we? So what do we need first? Well, I'm going to go with Nurgling Green. I'm going to go with Screaming Skull for the skin. Let's go with, not Castellan Green, what's it called? Let's think. Let's have a mooch, see what we can find first of all. Elysian Green, we can use that. We can probably use others as well. Goblin Green. What else is there? Scorpion Green. I think that's about it. Let's start off with Castellan Green because we have done really dark green on the trousers of this one and the top of this one. So if we get the in fact no, we don't need Castellan Green. What am I talking about? What we want is not Nurgling Green, Elysian Green for this. And we want a dry brush of this one. And I say dry brush, I mean a dry brush. We don't want much paint on the brush at all. And we just want to just go across gently. Oops. Put in paint where we think there's going to be light hitting, as you do. I know there's something I've forgotten to get, and that's the paper towels. But never mind. We'll do without for the time being. I'll pause the camera in a second and go on the hunt for some. There we are. As you can hear in the background, Gladdy's having a mooch for something that he shouldn't be having a mooch for. There we are. And that's all we need to do for the top. And now we'll do, oops, and now we'll go with, again, similar type of thing for the trousers on this one. For the paler green top on this one, and for the trousers on the other one, I'm going to be using this Elysian Green, and I'm going to be mixing it with a little bit of Screaming Skull to lighten it considerably, so it does stand out against the green that's already there, obviously. There we go. You can tell we don't want necessarily what you call it, really bright areas, but there will be some. computer screen has just gone black, so I'm hoping things are going right with it, because I'm really getting nervous. I've never actually used Windows 7, so I don't know whether it's going to be any good or not, but we'll soon find out. And just go over this a little more. There we are. Okay, so that's that done. I'm now going to mix a little bit of Nurgling green, which is that one. This is the one that took the place of rotting flesh. We'll take a little bit of that, not too much, and a little bit of the screaming skull. Oops. The computer's come back on again, and it looks as though it's doing something interesting. Anyway, as I said, we're going to be mixing the screaming skull with the Nurgling green. Well, considerably paler green, or more like a creamy colour we want, and this is going to be for the skin parts. So we don't want a lot of paint on the brush, so we wipe it off on the tissue, and we just gently, ever so gently, to hers and some her, waft it over. And if you've seen any TV programs of a certain afro-headed artist, you will know where that to hers and some her comes from. It's Mr. Bob Ross himself, the legend. So, as I say, it's just a case of tickle over where the skin is, and then straight down on the faces. We don't have to do a magnificent job on this. It's the figures aren't that brilliant to start off with, so as I say, it's not something we really need to fuss with. But let's try and do the best job as you can. As I keep saying, the Your videos, I'll start that one again, the Your figures, you do them the way you want to do them. I say that time and time again for the simple reason being, it's true. Don't let anybody tell you that what you're doing is wrong. If you're happy with them, that's all that matters. Your figures, it's your game, and if people don't like it, they've got the choice of A, not playing the game with you, and B, learning how to do it themselves. That way they can see what it's like and how tricky it can be to get the paint exactly where you want it sometimes. I'm not saying every time. Sometimes it can go on as though it wants to go. Other times it just won't go at all where you want it. Anyway, what I've done there, I don't know whether anybody saw, the mix of Nurgling green and Screaming Skull I used for the flesh, I've just added a little bit of Elysian green to it to make a slightly different shade of green. I might actually, I think I will pop a little, what colour would be good? What colour would be good? I'm going to pop a little Ballor brown in there as well, just a touch, just to alter the flavour somewhat. I'm going to give it a shake first. I always get worried when I'm installing software on my computer when it suddenly decides to switch off and restart. I know it needs to, but I always start worrying. But the problem is, that's standard for me. Okay, so what we're doing now is, again, with the trousers on this one, with this new mix, as we say, you have Nurgling Green and the Screaming Skull that we use for the flesh, and with a little bit of Elysian Green in it, and a touch, just to alter the flavour slightly, of Ballor Brown. The Ballor Brown is just there to, as I say, just alter it slightly so it's not actually a pure green, it's more of a browny colour. Well, not a browny colour, but there's a different shade, slightly different flavour to it, as I keep saying. There we are, and that's that done. And now what we can do is, using a bit more of the Ballor Brown, add, as I say, more to that so it looks that much more browner, but it's taken away the green and looks much more brown. And the reason I'm doing that is purely and simply the hair on this one needs highlighting brown colour. There we are. Just add a few more little touches here and there. I've gone over a bit too much with that, I'm afraid, but never mind. And finally, for these models, it's just, what colour have I done that one? Like a browny grey. So what I'm going to use for that one is, if I can find it, Administratum Grey, just like that. And strangely, I'm going to add a bit of that into the mix as well, but we want a lot more of that in because we want it more of a grey colour, a grey browny colour. Wipe most of it off and then just go over just like that. I mean, there's nothing stopping you doing the skin colour as this colour, but I prefer doing like a grey skin colour for vampires rather than zombies. I prefer using rotting flesh for zombies. There we are. And we can have a bit more of this colour down here. There we are. Okay, that's that for those. But what I want to show you is this. This is the Dark Earth texture paints that I showed earlier in another, and that's how it looks when it dries. I've not put a great amount on because obviously with the kind of figures these are, if I put too much on, you're just going to lose other feet. But I'm going to show you what I do with them anyway. Okay, so I've got some Rhinox hide, and we go over the entire base in the Rhinox hide. Now after we've done this, there's a choice of what you can do to highlight. You can either use what used to be desert yellow, I can't think what it's called now, or graveyard earth, or quite simply just dry brush over with a little bit of Screaming Skull. I think that's what I've done on these because I wanted them looking a little different to my Warhammer 40k models, so I've done them that way. Because usually in Warhammer 40k models I do this with the what used to be Graveyard Earth, I can't think what it's called now, but mind you, I think what I used to do is just I did the bases with the Rhinox hide and the tops with the Graveyard Earth. That's right. And then used paler colours to highlight. But in this one I'm doing it all in the Rhinox hide, so it gives us a stronger, deeper earth colour. Earth tone rather. And when I've done this one I will have a look and see if I can find the paint. Steel Legion Drab, that's the one. Steel Legion Drab, I've just realised what it is. So, as I said, Steel Legion Drab is the one that used to be not Agrax Earthshade, Graveyard Earth. So there we are. That's basically, these are the brown ones as you can tell. So that's basically how I do them, and then it's just a case of highlighting later, and all I've used to highlight is just Screaming Skull, and it looks like that, quite dark with a Screaming Skull over the top. Don't tell me he does not look like Meatloaf. Okay, so that's it for this one. The next video I will show you how I apply the dark earth texture, and then we will do some more, then we'll paint some more of the figures, or make a start on painting some more of the figures, base coating and whatever. So until then, as always, Happy New Year, take care, God bless, and bye for now.